Okay, Mandew vs. Colorless Curse. Is it better than the previous games created by Syax? Yes. Here we go, everyone. Improvements, big improvements into this game. This time around, instead of the fields being flooded, Mandew is trapped in a strange world void of color. So very reminiscent of the Game Boy games, especially the Wario Land and Super Mario Land, which this has a lot of inspiration from. Not only that, but you're met by LegenthendMudTea. This is a weird, mysterious entity that guides you through the game, hopefully allowing you to collect these 4 golden consoles to get back to your own world. And in this game, there are so many more improvements. Let's just get right into it. One of the best things I would say about this game is the increased leniency on the enemies. Finally, after all the other games, Syax, you came through. There's much more leniency on the hitboxes and hurtboxes of your character. It's still to the point where you still have to be very careful, but I didn't have nearly as many issues in this game as the previous ones. In fact, this is a game besides Chimera that I played the most. So yeah, I beat it around 3 times now, and I had a lot of fun playing through it. And even at times I wanted to speedrun it. And speedrunning is very important because this game introduced some important things. Not only do you have the ability to race, which you'll see in future games by Suits and Sandals, but you also have the trials that came back from the previous game. And with these combinations, you have a lot more content and something that you can actually play through multiple times in order to get better. Not only are there different things in this game, like more secrets to find, more power-ups to collect, such as the rabbit ears, very taken from Wario Land and all that stuff, which you have the ability to fly over these gaps. You have the hammer, once again returning, and also the chili pepper acting as your fire flower. So this time around, I would say that the level design has increased even more from the previous games. They were steadily increasing before, but I feel with Colorless Curse, it just increased dramatically in my opinion. A lot of the levels are easier. Some of the levels are harder, but it never felt unfair. A lot of the levels in the previous games felt kind of off here and there, especially I would say in Vista Quest 2. But going from there to here, it's crazy how much improvements Syax made in that amount of time. But not only that, a lot of the other people who worked on the other games and also a lot of the other creators from the previous games also helped with this one in some way, either by playtesting, Mandew creating the character, the hero sprite Mandew, of course. Especially you have these bosses introduced into this game that are so cute, and other bosses that are very creepy looking. And it's just one of the cool things that you can see how things are starting to evolve in this game, in this series. And it's just seeing this and going on even into the future games, you can definitely see how the games kind of flowed. Again, you have mechanics from the previous game, being able to use certain weaknesses on bosses. For instance, you have the hamburger that you can find on the first level, and if you get to the end of the first world and you fight the boss called Taro, you can actually give her a hamburger and she just flies away, and that basically beats that boss, and it unlocks an achievement called the best ending, which I really wish Syax made it so that was like an alternate ending to the game. That would have been pretty funny, and also it'd been a really kind of cool thing that you'll see later on in a future Suits and Sandals game. Given that choice, I always like to see those little kind of crazy things happen. It feels much better when you're fighting through the bosses, especially when you encounter Syax once again, who has been putting on a little bit of weight, just a little bit from the previous game, and just fighting these different bosses with their attack patterns and seeing what they're weak towards gives the game much more replayability. Even though this was in the first game, this game being much shorter, the previous Mandew game and kind of being a nod to the shorter Game Boy games from that era. It's definitely a game that playing through it multiple times is pretty fun, and it's just one of the reasons I feel that with all the improvements in this game, especially to the gameplay and design itself, even the sound effects, there's more sound effects in this game, but I still wish there were a little bit more. It's nothing as bad as the previous game, and having the music going along from previous entries, you still don't have like too many original soundtracks in these games, not yet anyway. Still, the choices from the Mario games, the Wario games, the Yoshi Island games, all of these music choices were like, it felt pretty good and it fit Mandew very well. You did a great job on like making this game a lot better. I feel like this is where the point of you creating a game definitely improved, and from here on out there are just many more improvements to the overall series, and there are just things that I love in Mandew vs. Colorless Curse with the interaction from the different bosses, a little bit more involvement in the story even from the previous games, and you'll see even more of that in the future. If you had to play one of the first games, I would go with Mandew vs. Colorless Curse, especially if you want to see some of the improvements going on into the future games, although I think all the games deserve some kind of recognition. If you did play Mandew vs. Colorless Curse, what did you think of the game? Did you enjoy it? Did you dislike it? Is it one of your games you feel like could have been improved in other ways? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay up to date with other content I'm doing on the channel, including the 12 days of Syaxmas, then feel free to subscribe to the channel and you can get started with a playlist. Right here will get you started with the future and past videos I cover. Thank you so much for watching, everyone, and until next time, take care.